So this is my biggest problem with the M4. This is what makes the M4 okay and not great. And luckily, I'm at Swift Performance, who are Bilstein distributors, and as you can see, we've got a set of B16 dampers for the M4. Now, this is a passive setup, meaning we can dial it in with this little dial over here. And the biggest issue I've said is when manufacturers make these cars, they make them for everyone and not for your track day goers or not for your everyday, I don't know, mountain trip guys. They just make it for everyone. So this suspension doesn't suit what I do. We've got the dials here which allow you to go from soft to hard, but to note, Bilstein also do a Damptronic version, which means it's electrically controlled, because on the M4 you've got Comfort, Sport and Sport Plus, and in my opinion the Comfort is too soft, and on our roads we kind of need to drive in Comfort, which then brings the problem of going into Sport, and Sport's too hard. So passive, for me anyway, is an absolute no-brainer. In case you guys have seen that Spider-Man meme when you usually point at somebody that's Spider-Man, this is my Spider-Man, because this is Tim. Hey Tim.
How you doing?
All good, all good. The reason why I've obviously brought Tim into the video, number one, Tim's obviously going to be working on the car today, and number two, you in fact have a very similar setup on your M4.
I do have the Damptronic version. Okay. Which is great, to be fair, for your daily use, that I don't have to clamber underneath the car to adjust any dampening, whereas obviously you will.
I don't mind that, I'm not going to say I don't mind getting on my knees because that sounds a bit wrong. But in terms of that, is that noticeable going from the standard OEM setup?
It is, in fairness. One, obviously you can still adjust the ride height on mine because it's the B16, so the ride height is still adjustable with the function of changing from your Comfort to your Sport Plus, which is a noticeable difference. But the only downside is you can't really run it too low because it just the parameters aren't there for it to actually be that noticeable. The lower you go, the less noticeable the actual change between them is. So you have to keep a fairly sensible ride height.
Sweet spot. Am I right in saying that things are combined in the adjustability, they're not separate?
Exactly that. You just have the one dial on the bottom here that enables you to obviously adjust quite simply from 1 being softest, if we can find it, all the way up to 10 being the firmest.
10,
so generally speaking, Bilstein run as close to OEM as they can on number 5, and then you kind of go harder or softer from there.
Perfect, perfect. And on the M lights, because Tim had a wicked M140, same colour as my M140 for that matter, this is available on the M lights as well?
It is, yeah.
And then a B...
Well, you've got more options on the M light, so you can have just your dampers, your B8s, or you can have the B14 kit, which is still ride height adjustable, but it doesn't have any adjustability on the dampening side of things.
I see.
So, but the M Power cars, M4s, etc., B16s is really the starting point.
No worries. And before we go over to the car, is it right in saying that me and you are just like Spider-Man and Spider-Man? Because M140, M4, but to be fair, you got the M4 first, then I got it. But yeah, guys, we're gonna get straight into this because I am very excited because it's been a very long while since I've had any major changes to the car, and also I'm really beginning to feel sorry for this splitter. It gets a lot of abuse. We're also getting this coded in, and as you can see, it's being coded in by the one and only Morpheus, who is the coder at Define Coding, who has obviously been on the channel quite a few times, and as you can see, he is remotely dialed in. So if you are getting your dampers changed, and especially because this has EDC, very similar to what you'd find on an M Light and on an M car, you need to tell the car that you no longer have electronically controlled dampers and you have passive. So shout out to Morpheus, Define Coding, and he'll sort you out. Okay, so as you can see, the damper's now fitted, and Tim has removed this, something that I wasn't expecting, and also has given me this. These are Millway Control Arm Bushes?
Correct.
And what is, because I don't want to get this wrong, is this just for steering or does it do anything else?
Basically, these bushes on the car originally are rubber and they are oil filled. Okay. So bizarre enough, if you were to drill a hole in it, it would leak oil.
Okay.
Now what happens is obviously you've got all of the momentum of the car under braking, you know, the inertia of the car wants to carry on going forward. You're applying an opposing force with your brakes, which obviously deflects the opposite direction. All that meets here on this rubber bush, which over time gets quite a pasting, especially if you're spiritedly driving the car. So obviously with this here, with a uniball in it, there's no deflection, no free play. It's a solid mount, solid bush, and it will just tighten up the whole front end under braking as well.
So this doesn't add any camber or anything?
It's totally centralised. Obviously there are products out there that give you more a caster adjustment, but not these. These are purely centrally mounted.
So this is classed as the 1-2. If you're going to be going suspension, it's a nice little addition.
It's a must. It's a must. Even on stock cars, realistically, these will have a certain life of. See them gone at 30,000-40,000 miles.
Say, this is 100,000 miles it's been in there.
So I mean, they've done well. Yeah, they've done well in fairness, but a lot of people end up putting poly bushes in there.
Yeah.
But really,
this is what you want.
That's a kiddie.
Also in here, you can see Tim has fitted the Millway Control Arm Bushes, meaning less deflection when braking, and it also means I can gap that man over there every day of the week, because now I've got the mill. In my dreams, in your dreams, yeah, in his dreams, he wishes he was as fast as me, but all right, we'll talk about that later. So, as mentioned, height adjustables, which means we can set it up exactly how we want, and then we'll get that amazing Swift Geo as well. So she handles like she's on rails. Okay, so as you can see, we have some issues. So something I obviously have a set of 2 Forge ZF wheels, 18s, which are my track wheels. Now I went to my road wheels, which are the 19s. I failed to get an alignment. So whenever you go from 18 to 19 or anything like that, you should always do an alignment. And you can see the camber's so aggressive, it's now worn the inner edge down to the cord. Okay, so Tim is just about to set everything up. We've just driven the car onto the ramps. Something to note is that the setup I've gone for here is actually something that's going to be suitable for my day-to-day. And when it does come to a track day, we'll obviously change the alignment, put on the 18s and lower it down a tad. But for now, this is definitely the ride height for me. Fingers crossed it all goes well. Let's go. Okay, so you join me what is around 2 days later, 200 miles completed with the new B16 setup, and I've got to say it's an absolute dream to be able to drive around without worrying about scraping the bumper, or as you know on the S55 the oil cooler is right in there, and that if that catches, it's game over. So this is more than enough. Day to day, it's livable. You can soften it up. For now, it's just at 6 and 5 on the damper settings. So yeah, it drives like an absolute dream. When I push on, it feels really, really good. The support, everything is banging. And I've got to say also, a big shout out to Swift as well for the overnight parts. The PS4Ss needed a replacement because obviously the outer one was worn. So yeah, huge shout out to Tim especially for helping out. There is going to be obviously a follow-up video where I drive it more and talk about it, but I don't think within 200 miles I'm going to be able to give you an overall opinion, bearing in mind a lot of that was just on the motorway and a few B roads. But for now, over the stock setup with the springs, this is the combo you want. It's absolutely lovely. So yes guys, that has been the video on the B16s and the Millway Control Arm Bushes fitted. Again, a huge shout out to Swift Performance, absolute legends. Look forward to making a few more track focus mods in the future, but for now it's bye, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, God bless.